Welcome to another Q&A session for the best club in history, Real Madrid, hosted by Gaëlle Manny.
Hey everybody, this is Gaëlle. It's been a long time, but after the victory in the Clásico, I thought there's no way we can have a Q&A. So, because we have to celebrate. And so we have 4 people to do that today, plus me. So we have Aaron, Apakshit, Karan, and Tanuj. How are you guys doing?
Hey there.
Hello.
Hey.
Ready to celebrate?
Yeah. I believe I've already started.
I know, but you celebrate even more,
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We still have the Bayern Munich game to go, so.
Oh, okay. So you're more of the cautious type, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and we still technically have the league that we have to win. It's not mathematically done yet, so.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But I think we're in a good position now. And certainly more than if we had tied or lost on Saturday, so. Okay. So, we start with the first question. I wanted to ask you, how did you feel going into the Clásico? If you felt, confident or whatever. And then during the game and then afterwards. So maybe Aaron, you want to go first?
Well, for me, I wasn't really entering the game confident of a win. I thought Mourinho was going to fight really hard to just get a draw, but I was pleased to be surprised. But heading into this game, it felt like it was the first time in a long time that we weren't coming in on a high compared to Barcelona. Compared to when we met them in the Copa del Rey, when we met them, well, that was the first time we met them in the Copa del Rey. Obviously, the second leg, they were on a high because of the first leg. But first time we met them in the CDR, last time we met them in the league, and then again before the Supercopa, every time it felt like we were the hot team and they were the not team, and somehow they still ended up getting one past us. So I didn't have the highest hopes, but I knew that we were going to give them a game, and I'm really pleased with the fact that we were able to beat them. I don't think it was a much better performance than we've seen in the past. It was just this time luck favored us as opposed to Barcelona, as it's been too many times in the past.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's see what the others think. Apakshit, you want to go ahead and tell us how you felt going into the game and then during the game and then afterwards?
Yeah, sure. I was a bit nervous, considering our past track record against Barcelona, considering the fact that we have consistently struggled against them, Going into the game, I thought we made a brilliant start to the game. Ronaldo almost scored on the 4th minute, but Valdez made a really fine save. And after scoring the first, I thought we sat back and defended, which wasn't a good thing to do. And luck, I would say a little bit of luck. We needed it. Xavi missed a brilliant opportunity. He was one-on-one with Casillas, and Casillas saved it. It was a great save, but Xavi should have done better. So I thought we did have a little bit of luck on our side, but I think after scoring the first goal, we shouldn't sit back and defend like that.
Okay.
And after the game, obviously, I was really, really happy, after the game.
Okay. Karan?
Well, I was pretty excited about the game. I mean, El Clásico, I will never not get excited about it. I watched a couple of videos from the past, Raul's celebrations and Booty and all of it. And so I, for one, was very excited about this game. During the game, I was pretty much confident with the way we were playing, because I feel that that's the only way you can actually play against Barcelona, because they play boring football according to me. But well, I could probably say that in later questions. But till the time Pepe got a yellow, I was pretty confident. But thankfully we managed to hold on to the lead, and obviously afterwards it was like pure joy, just as much as every single one of them on the field felt. So it was a brilliant game overall.
Okay. Tanuj?
Being a very pessimistic sort of person that I am, I was thinking that we're going to lose yet again. We're not won under Mourinho, except the Copa del Rey. So I was going to go for another loss. I just hoped that it wasn't going to be a big loss. Just anything 1-0 or 2-0 would have been fine. Getting a goal would have been alright as well. But I was thinking that it was going to lose anyway. And draw would have been probably the best result. But I would any day against anybody. Much rather against Barcelona. And we managed to get that. Can't get better than this.
Okay. Tanuj, I don't know about the others, but I hear you sometimes and some other times I don't, so I don't know if there's something with your mic.
Same here.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay.
I don't know how to fix it. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I know what's going to be the wrong thing. Hang on. I think it will be better now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Not surprising. No, what I was gonna say, I know, is that when we were watching, Barca playing Chelsea, the thing Javi and Juan Pablo and I thought at the end was, oh my gosh, we hope that, Mourinho didn't watch that game, because what he's gonna do, he's gonna think, oh, let's defend, that's what it takes to beat Barca, And we were, let's hope we don't do that. And that's what we kind of did. And it worked. So, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about that game. But yeah, you've sort of said that too, some of you. So, what surprises me is a lot of people think it was a brilliant game. Like, oh, we played so well. We played like a team. That was a brilliant effort. And I'm like, the result is here. It was a team effort, but I don't think it was such a brilliant game. So, I remember like a lot of people giving the players a very hard time after the Valencia match, where I thought personally that we played much better. It didn't work out. But I preferred the performance we had against Valencia rather than this one. Now, as in terms of results, that's what it counts. Yeah, it was better, but I don't know. Enlighten me, please, because I really would like to understand why the most common opinion is that the Valencia game was terrible and this Clásico was really great. I don't know who wants to go first. Maybe Tanuj, let's try your mic.
I don't know why people thought that the game against Valencia was really bad. I don't know why people think that beating Valencia was always going to be easy. Valencia, I mean, we attacked really well in that game as well, and we the only reason that we drew was because Valencia's keeper was in a fantastic form, and he made about 2 or 3 great saves, which made the game end in a draw. Other than that, I don't think there was anything wrong with the game against Valencia.
Okay, Aaron?
Well, I remember the game against Valencia. My major issue with it was that our attack simply wasn't sharp enough. I didn't rate the Valencia goalkeeper quite as highly as everyone else did because I didn't see him make quite as many amazing saves because, quite frankly, a lot of the shots we put up were fairly easy to stop. And you can take my word as a keeper here. I'm always going to try and praise the keeper as much as possible, but here, it simply wasn't the case. I think the simplest answer for why the Madrid players are getting praise for this match against Barcelona versus Valencia is we won. I mean, That's just simple human psychology. I don't know. I don't think that we defended quite like Chelsea did. I think the real strategy to consistently beat Barcelona is to find a game plan where you can shift back and forth between attacking and stepping back and counterattacking and sitting back and being more defensive. If you just try to sit back the whole game and be defensive and strike them on the counterattack, that lets them get into the groove too easily. And if you try to attack them the whole game, that just lets them cut you up. And what I've seen us do in the past, and we kind of did against Barcelona most recently, is exactly that. We'll attack for 15, 20 minutes, we'll get good play going, and then we'll sort of sit back, and you'll notice the players get a more defensive mentality, and we kind of soak up pressure, and then again we turn it back on. And, you know, that's why I think we've been able to compete with Barcelona so well in the past. And really, it's been luck that has kept us from winning against Barcelona versus not having the right strategy or not having the right personnel or anything like that.
Okay. Apakshit?
Yeah, I think we were decent against Valencia. I wouldn't like to go too much into it. But against Barcelona, I don't think we played really well. There are fans who are talking about it, who are saying that we were really good. I don't think we played really well. The fact is that the finishing of Barcelona let them down big time. I remember Tello had 3 or 4 chances in the game and he just kept blowing his chances, you know. And Xavi also had a really good chance and he just blew it. So I think we had luck on our side, and I don't think we played really well. So for the next season, at least, especially against Barcelona, I think we should try and hold the ball more rather than just whacking it off. I remember Pepe whacked the ball off 5 or 6 times in the first half. You know.
Yeah.
What it does is, it gives Barcelona chances. You know, when they get the ball back, they're going to come back at you. You know. So
exactly.
backing the ball off like that is not going to work. You know.
Yeah, it was driving me crazy. I swear, I was like, no, not that. And Nike was doing it also all the time. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. But yeah.
But the positive side of doing that repeatedly is that Barcelona have to build all their movement throughout completely all over again. So that gives the defense time to breathe. That gives them time to form a shape again. And
well, it doesn't give them. Sorry to interrupt. Please go on.
Yeah. So and also Barcelona have to build all over again. So I don't know how that's a majorly bad thing as well, given we were playing at Camp Nou and and let's be honest about it, Barcelona are fantastic in attack. We can't change that.
Okay, Apakshit, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say that it doesn't take them long to build a move. You know, it hardly takes them 5 or 6 touches. You know, so defenders do get time. There's absolutely no doubt about it. They do get time to get back in shape, but what it does is it just takes away the momentum. You know, and I don't think you can keep on doing it. We just got away with it because luck was on our side, you know.
Karan, you want to say something about that?
I feel that, okay, first about the game against Valencia, I agree with Aaron out there because we didn't have that finishing wasn't good up to the mark, and that's exactly why we couldn't get a favorable result. Coming back to Barcelona, I think it's a simple matter of seeing what your team can do and seeing what the other team can do, and just weighing your strengths and weaknesses. So everybody, including Mourinho and all of us out here, know that Madrid cannot play a passing game the same way Barcelona does. You can't expect Di Maria to keep passing the ball around. You can't expect Ronaldo to keep passing the ball around. He will do it once or twice, but that's not in the nature of their game. The same way, even our defense, like for example, Pepe tried something silly by passing the ball at the back end. Alves just got a full of it. We can't play that kind of a game because our tactics and the way we've been training, it's just not favorable. So we've been playing to our strengths, and that is good aerial. You know, we have very good command over aerial balls. We have a very good command over fast counter-attacking play. We have very quick forwards who can see to it that more defenders commit to them, so that we have other players in space. And we played to that. You know, we played to our strengths. We can't expect to go to Barcelona. It's as simple as that. If I will rate Barcelona out of 100 in passing, I will give them a 90. But if I rate Madrid out of passing, I will give them an 80. And you can't go and beat them at their own game. And we had our different strengths. We had strengths in our counters, in the corners, and free kicks, and all of it. So it's a completely different game. You have to see what tactics suit you, and accordingly play your game according to that. You can't have a possession-oriented game and be like, oh my god, we got 60% possession against Barcelona. That's not going to help it.
Okay.
Mourinho was smart. He knew what we could do. He knew what we couldn't do, and we went to the game with that. That's about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
can I just say something? Can
Yeah.
I just add to it? Why are we talking? Why are we talking like Chelsea? You know, Chelsea players of Chelsea do that. You know, they just play the balls, and Drogba controls it. You know, he's their target man, and they try and feed him consistently. You know, we are not Chelsea. We can play so much better than Chelsea.
No, but we
You
are
know,
not
so
playing
why-
with. We're not playing with one centre forward who does all of that. We have a very different build-up to our game. We play through the wings, and we have our wingers doing all the work. We don't have one centre forward who's holding the defense and who's working his socks off like how Drogba does. We have a very different game plan to Chelsea as well. The only problem out here is that against both the teams, against Chelsea and Madrid, Barcelona had a better possession. So we are automatically thinking that we both had a similar game plan. It wasn't like that. We have a very different game style to Chelsea, and I think you guys should agree with that, because we moved through the wings, we have a lot of passing, but it's just not the same way as Barcelona or Chelsea.
Yeah, but the point is, how can just backing the ball off consistently? You know, not just once, not just twice, consistently. Pepe did it like 6-7 times in the first half, or maybe more than that. You know, I don't see how that's going to help us. You know.
One more thing I would like to add out here. I agree with Pepe was just hooping the ball up, but he's been doing that since a long time. The only thing is that it's.
Karan, we've lost you. Well, we hear you at times, so I don't know. Okay, Aaron, you want to say something about the comparison with Chelsea?
I don't know. I can see the advantage of not forcing our defenders to try and play it out of danger, because that's when Barcelona is really going to hurt you. You're going to play one sloppy pass and they're going to jump on it, because unlike most other teams, they're pressing from the moment they lose the ball. So they're going to jump on the pass and they're going to get in a really dangerous position. So I can kind of understand, why you wouldn't want to always play it out of danger. But on the other hand, I can understand how kicking it, just hoofing the ball out every time, is never going to let you really compete as a team. So I'm somewhere in between the two. I don't want to take a side.
Okay. Karan, you're back. You want to resume what you were saying? Okay, problems with Karan. Okay, we keep moving then. Yeah, were you surprised with the starting 11 that Mourinho put up? Like, for instance, Coentrao, Marcelo. What else? But Di Maria wasn't really a surprise, but maybe Kaká was more consistent or not. I don't know. What would have been your dream starting 11? Apakshit, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. I was satisfied with the starting 11. I always knew that Pepe Coentrao would start because of his superior defensive skills. You know, I always knew that Marcelo would start on the bench, and Coentrao did an absolutely amazing job. Dani Alves could not even cross the ball even once in the box. He was frustrated. You know, Coentrao did an excellent job on him. And as far as Kaká is concerned, I again think starting Di Maria was probably the right thing, though he could not do much in the game. And I thought the starting lineup was really good. You know.
Okay, Tanuj.
Given the criticism that Coentrao received after the game against Bayern, and seeing how terribly he played in the first half and the latter stages of the second half against Robin and then Lam on that goal that we conceded. A part of me did not want to see Coentrao start, but then again, another part understood that Marcelo is not a better defender than Coentrao is. So I am still not fully unsure of what side I would much rather go for, but after the game, I think Contrao did a fabulous job. Alves barely had any opportunity. The only opportunity I think he got was when Pepe tried to pass it to Ramos and Alves nicked it in, but that had nothing to do with Contrao. And other than that, Contrao was spectacular in the whole game.
Okay, Aaron?
I don't know. I didn't
I knew it.
I didn't find Contrao's play to be fantastic. I didn't think he played particularly poorly, but I'm not really understanding all the praise that he's receiving, which, I mean, might just be me. You know, sometimes I miss things in matches, especially matches like that where I'm so emotionally invested. But really, I guess, yeah, I probably would have started Marcelo instead of Contrao, because I don't buy the argument that Contrao is a vastly superior defender. I think, defending wise, there's a small gap between them maybe, and then as far as offensive contribution, I think Marcelo is far and away better than Contrao. I think Marcelo is better with positioning than Contrao, defensively and offensively. But I think maybe Contrao is better, on the man, getting the touch in, disrupting play kind of thing. But, I'm not gonna second guess Mourinho for starting Contrao. I was confused. I wrote about it in the winners and losers. Earlier in the season, commentators, started mentioning that Contrao was the player that Mourinho, preferred for the big matches, which I didn't really understand because there hadn't really been any evidence that had shown that, but it's turned out to be true. Apparently, Contrao is Mourinho's favorite for the big matches. Mourinho really does believe he's more defensively solid, so that is what it is. Otherwise, I can't think of anyone on the team that I would have switched out for anyone else. Maybe Kaká for Di Maria, but you know what? Di Maria, I was expecting more of him, so I probably would have started him too if I was in Mourinho's shoes.
Okay. One thing I want to say was that once Granero came in my opinion, everything went much better. But that's with the idea that for me, I wasn't very happy with all the balls being thrown forward by Pepe and Iker, of course. So given that, when Granero came in, for me it was a huge, breath of fresh air, because I was like, oh my gosh, finally we're retaining the ball, and that's one thing that I really liked. And the other thing about Contrao was that we were thinking that probably that was Mourinho making a point. That's what I said in the winners and losers comments, actually. It's kind of him being stubborn and saying, oh really, you think, he can't do it? Well, I'm gonna put it in the Clásico and you're all gonna see what's gonna happen. But maybe I'm reading into things too much. I don't know.
Maybe. About Granero, though, I think it's important to recognize that it was a smart tactical move on Mourinho's part to bring him in, because he brought him in at a point in the game where Barcelona was starting to get more aggressive, more reckless. So that was giving us the opportunity to retain possession because they were getting a little more desperate. I think had Granero started the match, he wouldn't have had quite as great of a game as far as over the course of the whole thing.
All right. Karan, you're back?
Yep, I'm so sorry about my internet.
No problem. So, okay, do you want to finish what you were saying? Where were we at? I think you were talking about Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just trying to say that we didn't have a similar game plan to Chelsea, and that's about it.
Okay, so we're good then.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Oh yeah. So, what did you think of Barca? Is it the Barca that you expected? There were a few changes in the starting 11, and actually in the post-game press conference, some journalists kind of asked Pep, do you think the same result would have happened if you had started Cesc or Alexis, and if Piqué had played? So I don't know. Do you think it was also not only luck, but maybe Barca wasn't in their best form or something? Karan, maybe you want to go first?
Okay. I think Piqué is all as slow as a cow. I don't really like him as a defender. So Pep also was you've had enough tries. Now we're back to the bench. As far as Teo is concerned, I think I quite like that guy, not just because his name is something related to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but he's been pretty interesting, in the games that he has played. Cesc has been missing a lot of chances. I mean, he can't score in front of an empty goal as well. So, Alexis could have, started as well. But I think the formation and the lineup was pretty much effective. There was nothing like, oh my god, what lineup are they playing with?
Yeah.
It was pretty much effective with Barcelona.
Okay.
I kind of disagree. Because they started with Messi, Iniesta, and Teo up front, and there was no striker in the lineup to finish the chances. And in the end, Iniesta and Messi had to drop deep to gather the ball, but whenever they dropped deep to gather the ball, they did not have anybody to run into the box to convert those chances or to convert from through balls that they usually play with. So, and always was touching or was more often on the touchline. So he didn't make any inward movements. Teo had 2 chances to score, but he missed on both of them.
Yeah, we were lucky.
Xavi had 1 chance. Yeah, and Xavi had 1 chance which he should have scored with. Other than that, they barely had any other chances, mostly because they did not have Alexis to start with, which I think they should have. Cesc maybe not, but Alexis was the major difference which he should have started with rather than either of Thiago or Theo, in my opinion.
Okay. Aaron?
Well, I think, and I wasn't too keen on Barcelona team news, but I think the decisions that he made, Pep made, were kind of decided for him. I don't think Alexis was 100%. I don't think Cesc was 100%. I think the only decision that he really was able to make was keeping PK out of the lineup, which I don't think really affects the match all that much. One of the huge problems that Barcelona has had for the past couple of seasons is their lack of an out-and-out striker. They brought in David Villa to try and fix that. I mean, first they brought in Ibrahimovic to try and fix that, and he was a failed project, but they brought in David Villa to try and fix that, and he, kind of works in that position, but obviously he's injured, so he's out. Hopefully he's back in time for the Euro to compete for Spain, but we'll see. But he isn't that out-and-out striker. Messi isn't that out-and-out striker. Alexis Sanchez isn't really that out-and-out striker. So that's kind of an issue that Barcelona has had for a long time, and they lack that ability to transition into that sort of a game if they need to. But usually they don't need to because they create so many chances that it doesn't really matter if they have a striker or not. But in this particular game, I guess it just bit them in the rear end. Tello is he's a young kid. He's done well in past games that I've seen him play, so he just didn't have a great game today, but that happens from time to time. And I don't think that Guardiola is to blame for the loss because of his, decision not to field the right players. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I think Barcelona just didn't have the crazy amounts of luck that they've had in the past against us.
Okay. Yeah, Teo said in a post-game interview that he found out he would play like maybe not minutes before the game, but almost, so wasn't final decision until
but
very
then again,
late.
even if Theo did not, I mean, obviously he wasn't to blame for the loss, but then again you wait 69 minutes to make the change.
Whoops. That's not nice. Poor Tanuj. Oh, are you back?
I'm back.
Okay.
There was something wrong with my connection. Sorry about it.
That's okay. No, but Tanuj also are you back to, yeah. That's weird. Something weird is going on. We've lost our, we're out of practice totally. This is really weird today. I'm losing every one of you except Aaron. You're kind of disappearing at some point and coming back. This is so weird. Tanuj, are you back?
Tanuj says there's something wrong with his net connection.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll keep going. Is there anything you want to say about Messi? Good or bad?
I thought he had an alright game, but, there's kind of been this myth in the past that Messi is the big game player and Ronaldo is the big game chauffeur. And, after the goals that Ronaldo has been scoring for us against Barcelona and other teams, I think finally that myth is fully put to bed. I don't think Messi shows up in every big game like people try to pretend he does. I think, he had an average game, especially by his standards, maybe a subpar game, but that happens for him from time to time, and there's only so many times that his team can play poorly and he can pull them out of the fire,
Okay. Okay, Karan?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, besides that one pass to Xavi, I think he was pretty quiet throughout the whole game, and he wasn't making those devastating runs, in the midfield or inwards or any of that. So he had a subpar game, which I'm pretty happy to know about. So doesn't make too much of a difference.
Okay.
I also...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I also want to give our defense a little bit of credit because I think they were a little more tactically smart this time. They weren't collapsing on Messi quite as much, which whenever you collapse on Messi, you just give him a pass or the ability to use your own bodies against you.
All right. Apakshit?
Yeah, I thought Messi had a poor game because he has set himself really high standards and he failed to match those high standards, And I would also like to give the defenders a little bit of credit, which they deserve. I thought they marked him really well. But then again, he somehow managed to find Xavi with that amazing ball. That was his moment of genius in that game, He should have done more, but then somehow something went wrong. And in the game against Chelsea also, he wasn't looking really sharp.
Oh, okay. So that's something that started before, in your opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Tanuj, are you back at all?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
My internet is sort of screwed right now, I think.
Okay. Well, I don't remember what you started to say when you were cut off, so if you want to resume that and then say a few words about Messi also if you want.
What I was saying was that even though Pep or Theo are not to blame for the loss, but the thing is that Pep waited 69 minutes for making that substitution, even though he was seeing that the strategy wasn't working all right. And in a big game like this, you don't wait 70 odd minutes, seeing that you're 4 points behind the title leaders, you're losing 1-0. You don't wait 70 minutes to make the first change at least. So that was probably, even though Alexis might not have been fully fit, but then again, you can give him a run in and for half an hour or for 45 minutes of the second half.
Okay.
Well, no one questions the philosopher.
Apparently you don't.
Okay, anything else about that? Oh yeah, okay. Go ahead with Messi.
As far as Messi is concerned, he had the chance which he created for Xavi, which was a beautiful ball. And the Barcelona goal was instigated by him because he ran with the ball from the halfway line, which highlighted how deep he had to run into the near his defense to take the ball, and he went past about 4 defenders, I think, to create it for Iniesta, who provided a back heel to Theo, and that was a Messi, you can say a Messi instigated move, but those were the only 2 moves that he created in the whole game, I think.
Okay. So now I think we've put an end to this thing about Cristiano being not showing up in big games and Messi always showing up in big games. I mean, it was probably always a flawed reasoning anyway, but yeah. Do you think that should we meet again later this season, fingers crossed, we could pull it off a game with the same tactics, or Barca is going to change theirs, or what do you think could happen? It's probably hard to predict anything, but do you have some insight about it? Aaron, you want to go first, because maybe you're going to have to leave soon?
Oh yeah, I'd see the exact same lineup on our part. Probably very similar tactics. Barcelona maybe with a slightly altered lineup based on who's healthy and who's not. But you know, it really when these games are played, it comes down to luck. I've said luck a couple of times, and in the past few meetings, we haven't had luck on our side, and this time we did have luck on our side, and I think that's exactly what it's going to come down to if the two teams meet in the Champions League final, because it's pretty obvious that we are far and away two of the strongest teams in competition anywhere. So there's not a whole lot to pick between the two sides. So it's going to come down to some weird thing of how a ball bounces, or whether or not a referee makes a call, or, you know, how the wind blows.
Okay. Karan?
Yeah, I agree that, you know, if we are going to have pretty similar tactics if we meet again in the final. Probably we could see Alexis start for Barcelona. You know, Teo had his chance and he blew it. But as I said earlier, you know, this is the strongest team that we have. We cannot have a passing game against Barcelona because we don't have Granero, Sahin, and all of these playing in the midfield. You know, because they haven't been playing together for so long. So it's absolutely impossible that we can beat Barcelona at their own game. We have our own strengths, and I think if we meet in the Champions League final again, we are going to stick to our strengths and have a similar game plan.
Okay. Tanuj?
I think Barcelona, if we meet again, which is a big if at this stage, I think Barcelona would change things because it would be the final game of the season. So they would have nothing to lose, even if they put in players who are not 100% fit but can make an influence. So in that respect,
Oh my gosh. I'm laughing. It's not funny, but I mean, I can only laugh. Apakshit, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. I think we may meet in the final. There is a possibility. I think we'll dispose of Bayern Munich day after, and Chelsea will dispose of, Barcelona will dispose of Chelsea tomorrow. And I think they'll surely change their tactics. You know, I think Sanchez will start for sure, and Fabregas may also start. But I also think that if we play the same, I mean, we can have the same tactics, you know, because it worked for us. But I think we would have to play much better to win against them in the final.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I agree. You know, I was kind of excited, and suddenly, by talking to you and listening to all that, I'm kind of scared if we meet again. So, go Chelsea. Anyway. Well, Aaron, you mentioned the refereeing. I was actually not planning on talking about it, but then Juan Pablo gave me a little paper, and he said, you know, what Alves did to Cristiano, it's not being mentioned as much as what Pepe did to was Messi, I think, in an earlier game. And then there was this tackle from the back by Iniesta, I think, on Di Maria. So anyway, I personally didn't think that the referee had a bad game at all. Maybe he was a little generous on the yellow cards. By that I'm saying he gave too many of them. But aside from that, I thought it was a pretty good game. So do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Aaron? Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I think that Alves thing is something that I'm not really going to hold against the referee, because that's the kind of thing that you're never likely to see, as a ref, because you're, you know, taking care of the match going on. You're not looking at every player on the ground, checking to make sure that they're not, you know, secretly hitting any other player. That's the kind of thing that needs to be caught on post-game footage. The reason that there wasn't a big uproar about it was because it doesn't fit the narrative. I talked about simple human psychology before, and this is the same kind of thing. Like, if it doesn't fit into the story, which is the story is that Alves is a diver and Pepe is a dirty, thug or whatever. So it doesn't fit within that story, so nobody's really going to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, I thought it looked nasty, but kind of like with Pepe, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It didn't really look like anything particularly gruesome. The same thing with Danny. It didn't look like anything particularly gruesome against Ronaldo. I really wish Ronaldo hadn't done the faking injury thing. That kind of stuff makes me really disappointed to see. I don't want to see my team sinking to that level, but he did. Besides that, I think the referee, had a pretty good game. I didn't have any complaints. I mean, it's like I was talking with my girlfriend. Shockingly enough, there's a match between us and Barcelona. There's no reffing shenanigans go on, and we win the game. Who would have thunk it,
Yeah.
But it sounds like we're gonna have a solid ref against Bayern as well. Victor Kasai, who you might remember from last year's Champions League final, and he also reffed the World Cup match between Germany and Spain in the semifinals.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So he has a fairly solid record. So I'm assuming we're going to have just as good of a reffing performance against Bayern as we did against Barcelona.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Karan?
Yeah, I think besides a couple of yellow cards, which I think Xabi Alonso got one, which he won the ball cleanly off Messi and was looking extremely pissed off with the ref. I think he did a fairly good job besides that, and he let the game flow. He wasn't giving into any of the dives or any of that. So he let the game go in a good manner, and so that everybody would talk about the game itself and not what happened because of the yellow cards, the red cards, or any of that. So I think it was a pretty evenly matched game, and the referee helped to see to it that it was evenly matched.
Okay. Apakshit?
Yeah, I thought the referee did well because it's the classic, there's a lot of pressure on the players as well as there's a lot of pressure on the referee also. So I thought he did well, but I would strongly like to condemn Ronaldo because I thought that kick was subtle and there was malice in it, but I think Ronaldo tried to make a meal of it, there was nothing much in it, and we strongly condemn the likes of Dani Alves, Sergio Busquets for diving and trying to get players sent off. I thought Ronaldo tried to do the very same, and the next second he was up on his feet. So I would strongly like to condemn him for this,
Okay. Tanuj, you back?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No problem. So you want to finish what you were saying about if we meet again in the final?
Yeah. If we meet again in the final, it would probably be the last game of the season because I'm not sure when the Copa del Rey final and the Champions League final are, but I think it would be the last game. So even if there are players who are not 100% fit, but they are influential players such as Alexis Sanchez, I think they would feature. So things would be much different then. Okay. And I think Barcelona would feel a very different side than the one they had yesterday, on Saturday, I mean.
Okay. All right. So moving on to Bayern, what tactics do you think Mourinho, who is probably going to listen to this later on, should implement, and what the lineup should be for us? Well, Tanuj, go ahead since we have you.
Yeah, momentarily, I think. He would have a much different tactics than he had versus Barcelona. More attacking play, and I don't think defending would have all that much of a role to play, but we would have to score goals, and given how we have been the whole season at home as well, we would be able to score goals easily, despite Bayern's fantastic defense.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just still skeptical whether Coentrao would start again or not, because Marcelo did not feature in the Clásico at all,
Yeah.
and Marcelo offers more in attack, so that probably makes him a candidate to start rather than Coentrao.
But the same was true in the first leg though, where it was important for us to actually score away goals. You know, I would have expected Marcelo to start then, and he didn't. So yeah.
Yeah, but then again, playing away, you would much rather have you would have a decent stronghold as well on the tie. So you might as well not concede that many goals in your attempt at scoring more as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Coentrao then probably was a safe option, but for the second leg, I would think Marcelo makes more sense.
Okay, Aaron?
Well, Mourinho likes to isolate two-legged ties to basically make it so he just has to win one match. That is pretty much his MO for the past couple of years. So I think going into Bayern, Bayern is a very strong team at home. So he was basically just trying to get out of Munich without too much damage to his team. So I think maybe that's why he went with Coentrao against Marcelo. Because, I mean, Bayern has a really good record at home against us for years now. During this Champions League season, during the Bundesliga season, they've let in, I think, like 6 goals at home throughout the course of the whole Bundesliga season. Maybe I'm making that stat up, but that's just tremendous. Even if I'm making that up, that's still impressive. But, but away from home, they haven't performed quite as well. So I think, I would predict Marcelo, but then again, I'm probably going to be wrong because I'm not very good at guessing what Mourinho's going to do. But I think we're going to see a fairly attacking side, but this is Mourinho in a big match. We're not going to go, balls to the wall and totally recklessly attack. It's going to be very solid at back, and moving forward, we're just trying to put a couple balls in the goal, I think.
Okay, Apakshit?
Yeah, it's quite difficult to predict, but I think we need the right combination of defense and attack. We just need to win 1-0. A 1-0 win would be like good enough for us. So I think Marcelo would probably start, and I'm also guessing that Fabio Coentrao would also start. So yeah, let's just find out. Fabio Coentrao would play left back, and Marcelo would probably play in some other position. That's what I think.
I didn't like that though when we saw it last week, so I don't know if I want to see that again. Karan?
I believe that we really need to defend as well, because of the fact that if they happen to, I've seen teams come and just score one in at the Bernabeu, so it's not going to be difficult for Bayern to score 1. But if you manage to score 2, we have to score 4 goals.
Yeah.
So we need to have a right balance between defense and attack. So I think Coentrao will start. And if you guys are insisting on we playing Marcelo, then the only option is right midfield. That's on the wings that he can help us out, because Di Maria hasn't exactly been helping out too much in attack. He's had wayward passes and wayward long balls, and though he's been brilliant in defense, Marcelo can do the same as well. So if Marcelo can help us out on the wings, then we would just see a straight swap between Di Maria and Marcelo, with the rest of the team being the same. Because we do need to score, we don't have to concede at least more than 1 goal. So it's a little scary because it's Madrid we're talking about. And though we have had a very good defense in the last game, I would like to remind everybody that the games before that weren't that good. So I wouldn't really put my hopes on, Marcelo starting at left back. I don't trust him there.
Oh, okay.
One more thing.
I don't think anybody trusts Marcelo.
Okay, wait. Tanuj first, Apakshit then.
Yeah.
I was just saying that I don't think anybody trusts Marcelo when it comes to defending, so that's alright.
Okay, Apakshit.
Yeah, I would just like to talk about set pieces a little, free kicks and corners. I think we need to defend set pieces well, because we have not done that all season long, and this is a very crucial game. I think the defenders need to defend from set pieces well.
Okay. Aaron, you would disagree with Marcelo not being a good defender. Well, I mean, not being a trustworthy defender, right?
In Marcelo, I trust.
Good. I like that. It's funny. Okay. Yeah, the set pieces. Some French journalists, actually, I remember in one Champions League press conference asked Mourinho, are you planning on working on that in in the training sessions? Because something around the lines of you're not very good at it, quite frankly. And he said that no, it's just the way it is. Other teams, they also receive goals on set pieces, so he wasn't very worried, or at least he didn't show that he was worried about it. I don't know.
I think we've been vulnerable on the set pieces since Cannavaro. So he was fantastic when it came to defending aerial deliveries. But since then, I think we've just been shoddy when it comes to set pieces.
Okay, Aaron?
Set pieces are kind of the great equalizer. They're kind of purpose-made opportunities more often than not, and they tend to be the way that weaker teams score against stronger teams. So it would make sense that a team as strong as ours would give up a decent amount of set-piece goals. So I can understand where Mourinho's coming from. I don't want to see those set-piece goals scored against us, because they always make me think, oh man, that's just, lacking mental strength and concentration and all that. But, the goals are going to come from somewhere. There's no way we can play this game without ever scoring, or without ever conceding a goal. So, I think of all the places, set pieces are maybe one of the, less painful places to receive goals from.
Okay. One thing that we noticed was that, Arbeloa did a good job with Ribéry, and the one time that they managed to score with him somehow was when he shifted together with Robin, I don't know how to pronounce his name. So anyway, can you say a few words about these two players? You think they will be each one on their wing again, or they will be coupled on the same wing? What are the most challenging aspects of Bayern for us? Would you expect the same thing as in the first leg? Aaron, you want to go first, just in case?
I don't know. I guess I'm expecting Robin to have a bit of a better match, and for Ribéry to have a bit more subdued match, just because I, felt like the two of them, they're both very great players, which, by the way, I don't know if everyone's heard this, but apparently, Ribéry ended up punching Robin in their locker room.
Really?
So, trouble in paradise.
So,
oh, you guys know all the gossip. I've missed that.
I know, right? I think it was a €50,000 fine for punching Robin, because apparently Robin said something disparaging about Ribéry's free kick taking ability when he was trying to get, I think, Toni Kroos to take the free kick.
Wow.
I know. But okay, so if we believe the reports coming out of Bayern, though, everything's been patched over and there's no lingering animosity. But those are two very, very strong players, so I expect at least one of them to have a good performance. Averages alone would say it's going to be Robin this time, and because it was Ribéry last time. But they're dangerous, but we're going to have to cope with them, and they're not all conquering like some of the other opponents we've seen in the past.
Okay, Tanuj, while you're here, I want to have you talk.
Both of them are crucial players for both sides, and I think again they're gonna make the difference But another player who isn't given all that much credit despite playing fantastically in the first leg was Toni Kroos. He held the ball really well in the middle of the park and provided chances either way for Ribery and Robben to play on the wings. So, and he did not start on the weekend as well. So they're pretty much fresh as well. So, which our players don't have that luxury right now.
Yeah.
So, with that going in, I think Bayern would be better of the sides going into the second leg, in my opinion.
Okay. Apakshit?
Yeah. Robben and Ribery, they did have a brawl, but they kissed and made up, So it's all hunky dory for now.
I'm gonna want to see pictures of that. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey guys,
Literally speaking.
I gotta interrupt really quick. I gotta head out. Talk to you guys later.
Talk
Bye.
to you later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm absolutely straight. I'm least interested in those pictures. So yeah, coming back, I think Robben and Ribery, they're very crucial, and I think Ribery had a fantastic game. The first leg, he ran riot. He was just unstoppable, and the goal was also good. But it was again slack defending. Came from a set piece, of course, corner to be really specific. And Robben did not do much, but I think Robben and Ribery, both of them are really, really dangerous, and Robben will step it up, I think, in the second leg. I would also like to mention a little about Kroos, who is a prodigy. He's got a lot of talent, and he did have a really good game in the first leg. So I think these three players are really dangerous, and Muller would probably not get to start the game. He'll probably come in the second half. I think Muller is also really good, and so these four players, I think they're really crucial, and we need to man mark, especially Ribery and Robben.
Yeah, I think Arbeloa did a good job with Ribery, no? Did you not think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. He ran rings around him. He was not able to stop Ribery.
No. The point is, he ran rings around him, but in the end, Ribery wasn't as influential in the end as he always is. He wasn't able to provide chances for the attack to score from, as Robben did in the first half, and Lahm did in the second half in the end. On the Contrast side, but on the Arbeloa side, things were relatively quiet, I would say.
Karan, you want to break the tie here?
After the match against Barcelona, I fully trust Coentrao and Arbeloa, and I think in the match against Bayern, even though Ribery had a lot of tricks up his sleeve, couldn't really do anything much with it. It's like telling Ronaldo to do a 1,000 step overs and still not go anywhere with the ball.
Yeah.
So the same way, Arbeloa defended like a boss, and I'm placing my bets on the two of them to contain Robben and Ribery.
Okay. Okay. Well, anything else you want to say about the upcoming game against Bayern? Nope.
Yes, I would say that Bayern to score in the 5th minute with Madrid banging in 4 goals.
Oh, really? I'm not liking this at all.
No, but we win in the end, so that's alright.
Yeah, but it's not good for the how do you say that? The people who are weak with their heart, weak-hearted.
Chicken.
No.
Chicken-hearted.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay. And one thing I wanted to ask was, what's your opinion? So it has nothing to do with Bayern or anything anymore, sort of. What do you think about Mourinho not showing up in Liga pressers anymore?
Showing up where? Sorry.
Okay. We lost Karan. Okay, Apakshit, do you want to go first on this one? What do you think about Mourinho not doing the press conferences in Liga anymore? He's sending Karanka each and every time now. So, I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you think he should, really do his job and show up, or do you think he's right in ignoring, the Spanish press, or whatever?
Well, a manager can do that, and that's why he's probably doing it. But I think it's not good because the press will conclude that he walks with his nose in the air, So which is not going to be good, I think. He should probably come down and talk to them, Yeah, so that's what I think. But then again, I do know that he's sick and tired of the press there because of what has gone on in the past,
Yeah.
Which is probably why he's not too keen on coming and talking to the press anymore.
Okay, Tanuj, as a journalist in the making, what do you think?
It's a tricky one, to be honest. Personally, for him, it would be a difficult position because the rumors that are made up after whatever he says, or how whatever he says is misinterpreted. To some extent, I understand where his position is, but being a fan of the club, being somebody that he's representing the club. So whenever the media does say something, you just have to take it in your stride. You cannot do anything about it. The media are there to criticize you or appreciate you, either way that may be, but you can't do anything about it. Your job is to be there and say things how they are, or be gentlemanly or be elegant in how you portray things by not being crude or rude and brutal about what your opinion is. So he should do the pressers, but I don't see him doing any pressers this season at least.
Yeah, in Liga, I think he's made it clear that he won't show up anymore. And in Champions League, he does it because he has to. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He's been very clear about it. So it's kind of a shame because Karanka is a really kind of nice guy, It's much less impressive to talk to him than to Mourinho.
And less controversial as well.
Yes, but the thing is that I don't know how it works, maybe you know, but I don't know how those things work, if they kind of rehearse their answers beforehand or whatever, but Mourinho is always kind of more spontaneous. Whereas Karanka, you can really say that for each topic, they have a certain answer that's ready. And so if I say, for instance, okay, Cristiano, he had a fantastic game, and he's like, the first thing he says is no, yeah, okay, he had a good game, blah, blah, blah. It's like, not even trying to really answer your question, but rather, okay, so this is the topic that's come up, what was my answer for that? And then say that answer. So, that's kind of a shame in that sense, but yeah, I don't know.
It sort of helps Karanka grow as a manager as well, because he's learning, and I think he's been under Mourinho for quite some time now. So it helps him grow as a prospective managerial prospect as well. But as far as Real Madrid are concerned, I think Mourinho should tone it down a little bit if he stays on for the next season.
Okay.
And should do the presses, that is.
Yeah. Alright. Anything else you want to say? We've lost Karan and he's not coming back. I don't know what's going on. So Apakshit and Tanuj, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I think we can do the double this season.
Yeah.
We've already won the league. No, not mathematically, that is. We still have a little bit of work, but I think that will be done very soon. And now it's the Champions League, So I think we can surely do the double this season.
Okay.
I'd like to mention that yesterday Castilla won their Group 1, their Segunda Division B Group 1. They're champions now.
Yes.
They're mathematically champions now.
Yes. Yes.
So they go into playoffs and prospectively, hopefully, they go into Segunda Division next year.
Yeah, that's another thing, that would be 3 good things for us this season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be fantastic.
which means we can do the treble this season.
Yeah! Yeah, that would be great. Okay.
Which also reminds me of Manchester United, what they did in 1999.
What did they do in 1999? I wasn't, I was born, but I wasn't born in football yet.
They won the treble. FA Cup, Champions League, and
the Premier League.
Yeah, and the Premier League.
Oh, okay, but nothing about their youth team. Okay.
No.
All right. Okay, Tanuj, do you want to say a few words about what you're up to with Sports UN or your page? I don't know.
Yeah, with the Sports UN, we're doing more of game coverages now. We were at Sheffield Wednesday's game yesterday.
Okay.
So that was a good game as well. Sheffield Wednesday are pushing for promotion to the championship. So that was a good game to go to. So more and more games are coming in for us, and hoping that we get to cover more championship ties and probably Premier League in the near future.
Okay, good. That's great. Can you say the URL again?
Yeah, it's sportsun.org.
Okay, great. Well, Karan, you're back.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay, no, it's okay. No, well, we kind of done now. So tomorrow there will be a training session open to the press, and apparently they will open not the first 15 minutes, but the second 15 minutes. So from 15 to 30. So we should see something more interesting than just the players jogging and stretching. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. And then there will be the press conference. I don't know if they've already said who will be the player, because earlier they hadn't. No, not yet. So I'm also looking forward to that, and hopefully I can get a question in. I'm sorry, what?
Are you guys going to...
Oh yeah, we're gonna go. Yeah. We're gonna take our computers and be there for 3 hours.
Are you guys going to be a question?
I'm sorry, what?
You can again ask Pepe, if possible, what superhero would you like to be?
No, I'm not gonna ask that. No, but I don't know who it's gonna be, and I have to find.
It's not Pepe for sure, because Mourinho has not allowed Pepe to answer any questions from the press.
But Pepe was on the last one anyway, the last one in Madrid, that is. So that's not gonna be Pepe, that's for sure.
Pepe will cause a riot if he's given the freedom to do so.
Poor guy, he was like the questions to him were not very nice. You could see he was smiling.
You guys should ask.
Yeah?
You guys should ask some interesting questions. I don't know, something that can get us on the map. I don't know, but something interesting that has never been asked before, guys. I know we stand a chance of getting kicked out, but we can also figure out some interesting questions. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we have to be very cautious, because first of all, a lot of journalists already have, an agenda for their magazine or newspapers or whatever, and they ask weird question, and so if we want our question to get in, it has to be, we have to be cautious.
Pretty straightforward.
Yes, straightforward and focus on, on the game or on something like that. But the issue is that everybody gets their questions in, and then when it's your turn to ask, they've already asked your best question, so you're left with something a little less interesting.
Doesn't the media officer select whoever raises their hand first?
Yes.
So
no.
I'm not sure who the media officer is, but you could always hand first, or just tell him that you select me first so I can ask the best question.
Yeah, I don't. I try to work that. Yeah, I will see tomorrow.
I guess we're chatting off record out here, huh?
No, we're on air. No, but it's okay. We haven't said anything weird.
This is off record.
No, it's not off the record. This is on the record. This is totally on the record. No, but we'll see. We'll see. As soon as I find out, well, as everybody else, who's gonna be the player, we put a message on Facebook and you guys can submit your questions and we'll see what happens. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well that's it for me. Anything else you guys want to say? I don't think so. I think I've asked you already many times, but if you want to add anything. No.
But be prepared with the Champions League final, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I'm the optimistic.
I'm gonna wait until Wednesday night, but I mean if we don't make it, that's gonna be terrible. Actually, we're such
pessimism never won any battle.
Okay, thank you, Apakshit.
Yeah,
No,
so we all have to be really optimistic about it.
Yeah, I mean we have a good chance, but we will see on Wednesday night. We're on such a high right now that it would be terrible if we didn't make it through. But okay, well, Karan, yeah, I hear you, but like not quite well. Do you want to say something?
No, Apakshit said that we have to be optimistic, so I'm being optimistic and saying we're scoring 5 goals against Barcelona in the final, and we're having a revenge for the 5-0 loss.
Okay.
Might as well go for a 6-2 then.
Or a 6-0. That would be even better.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride.
You guys are going like all wishful thinking right now. But that's good. That's good. Okay.
Well, I think we shouldn't be building castles in Spain, you know.
Oh, well, you just said that pessimism hasn't won any battles, so yeah.
Yeah, but I think we also shouldn't say that we'll be scoring 6 goals and 7 goals and whatnot.
You don't know what you want, Apakshit. You don't know what you want.
I think he's
I'm very clear about it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Please go ahead, Karan.
I'm saying, I think he's saying that we should be a little realistic about this. So I would say that Pepe gets sent off and then we score 5 goals. Now that's weird.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Quite terrible, but quite possible.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to have to witness that. Okay, okay, I think that's it. So, that was really nice to have the Q&A again, get to talk to you guys again. It's been such a long time. Maybe 2 months, no? Something like that. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for participating and that should be up in a few, I don't know, maybe in an hour or so. Have Javi edit it now.
That's nice.
Good luck to Avi, man.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's gonna go into the details, you know. But yeah, I'll tell him. Well, thank you very much, and well, maybe if we have good news going on later on, we have some more Q&As again for the rest of the season, which is gonna be.
All right.
Okay.
I look forward to it.
Okay, and thank you to the listeners who have been patient, and you know we're back now. So bye bye everybody. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
This was a Madridismo.org production.
Of the first leg, but first time we met them in the CDR, last time we met them in the league, and then again before the Supercopa. Every time it felt like we were the hot team and they were the not team, and somehow they still ended up getting one past us. So I didn't have the highest hopes, but I knew that we were going to give them a game, and I'm really pleased with the fact that we were able to beat them. I don't think it was a much better performance than we've seen in the past. It was just this time luck favored us as opposed to Barcelona, as it's been too many times in the past.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's see what the others think. Apakshit, you want to go ahead and tell us how you felt going into the game, and then during the game, and then afterwards?
Yeah, sure. I was a bit nervous, considering our past track record against Barcelona, considering the fact that we have consistently struggled against them. Going into the game, I thought we made a brilliant start to the game. Ronaldo almost scored on the 4th minute, but Valdez made a really fine save. And after scoring the first, I thought we sat back and defended, which wasn't a good thing to do. And luck, I would say a little bit of luck. We needed it. Xavi missed a brilliant opportunity. He was one-on-one with Casillas, and Casillas saved it. It was a great save, but Xavi should have done better. So I thought we did have a little bit of luck on our side, but I think after scoring the first goal, we shouldn't sit back and defend like that.
Okay.
And after the game, obviously, I was really, really happy, after the game.
Okay. Karan?
Well, I was pretty excited about the game. I mean, El Clásico, I will never not get excited about it. I watched a couple of videos from the past, Raul's celebrations and Booty and all of it. And so I, for one, was very excited about this game. During the game, I was pretty much confident with the way we were playing, because I feel that that's the only way you can actually play against Barcelona, because they play boring.
Welcome to another Q&A session for the best club in history, Real Madrid, hosted by Gaëlle and Apakshit.
Hey everybody, this is Gaëlle. It's been a long time, but after the victory in the Clásico, I thought there's no way we can have a Q&A. So, because we have to celebrate. And so we have 4 people to do that today, plus me. So we have Aaron, Apakshit, Karan, and Tanuj. How are you guys doing?
Hey there.
Hello.
Hey.
Ready to celebrate?
Yeah.
I believe I've already started.
I know, but you celebrate even more,
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We still have the Bayern Munich game to go, so.
Oh, okay. So you're more of the cautious type, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and we still technically have the league that we have to win. It's not mathematically done yet, so.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But I think we're in a good position now. And certainly more than if we had tied or lost on Saturday, so. Okay. So, we start with the first question. I wanted to ask you, how did you feel going into the Clásico? If you felt, I don't know, confident or whatever. And then during the game and then afterwards. So maybe Aaron, you want to go first?
Well, for me, I wasn't really entering the game confident of a win. I thought Mourinho was going to fight really hard to just get a draw, but I was pleased to be surprised. But heading into this game, it felt like it was the first time in a long time that we weren't coming in on a high compared to Barcelona. Compared to when we met them in the Copa del Rey, that was the first time we met them in the Copa del Rey. Obviously, the second leg, they were on a high because...
And it worked. So, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about that game. But yeah, you've sort of said that too, some of you. So, what surprises me is a lot of people think it was a brilliant game. Like, oh, we played so well. We played like a team. That was a brilliant effort. And I'm like, the result is here. It was a team effort, but I don't think it was such a brilliant game. So, I remember like a lot of people giving the players a very hard time after the Valencia match, where I thought personally that we played much better. It didn't work out. But I preferred the performance we had against Valencia rather than this one. Now, as in terms of results, that's what it counts. It was better, but I don't know. Enlighten me, please, because I really would like to understand why the most common opinion is that the Valencia game was terrible and this Clásico was really great. I don't know who wants to go first. Maybe Tanuj, let's try your mic.
I don't know why people thought that the game against Valencia was really bad. I don't know why people think that beating Valencia was always going to be easy. Valencia, I mean, we attacked really well in that game as well, and we the only reason that we drew was because Valencia's keeper was in a fantastic form, and he made about 2 or 3 great saves, which made the game end in a draw. Other than that, I don't think there was anything wrong with the game against Valencia.
Okay. Aaron?
Well, I remember the game against Valencia. My major issue with it was that our attack simply wasn't sharp enough. I didn't rate the Valencia goalkeeper quite as highly as everyone else did because I didn't see him make quite as many amazing saves because, quite frankly, a lot of the shots we put up were fairly easy to stop. And you can take my word as a keeper here. I'm always going to try and praise the keeper as much as possible, but here, it simply wasn't the case. I think the simplest answer for why the Madrid players are getting praise for this match against Barcelona versus Valencia is we won. I mean, that's just simple human psychology. I don't know. I don't think that we defended quite like Chelsea did. I think the real strategy to consistently beat Barcelona is to find a game plan where you can shift back and forth between attacking and stepping back and counterattacking and sitting back and being more defensive. If you just try to sit back the whole game and be defensive and strike them on the counterattack, that lets them get into the groove too easily. And if you try to attack them the whole game, that just lets them cut you up. And what I've seen us do in the past, and we kind of did against Barcelona most recently, is exactly that. We'll attack for 15, 20 minutes, we'll get good play going, and then we'll sort of sit back, and you'll notice the players get a more defensive mentality, and we kind of soak up pressure, and then again we turn it back on. That's why I think we've been able to compete with Barcelona so well in the past, and really it's been luck that has kept us from winning against Barcelona versus not having the right strategy or not having the right personnel or anything like that.
Okay. Apakshit?
Yeah, I think we were decent against Valencia. I wouldn't like to go too much into it. But against Barcelona, I don't think we played really well. There are fans who are talking about it, who are saying that we were really good. I don't think we played really well. The fact is that the finishing of Barcelona let them down big time. I remember Tello had 3 or 4 chances in the game and he just kept blowing his chances, and Xavi also had a really good chance and he just blew it. So I think we had luck on our side, and I don't think we played really well. So
the ball, according to me, but I could probably say that in later questions, but till the time Pepe got a yellow, I was pretty confident, but thankfully we managed to hold on to the lead, and obviously afterwards it was like pure joy, just as much as every single one of them on the field felt. So it was a brilliant game overall.
Okay. Tanuj?
Being a very pessimistic sort of person that I am, I was thinking that we're going to lose yet again. We're not won under Mourinho, except the Copa del Rey. So I was going to go for another loss. I just hoped that it wasn't going to be a big loss. Just anything 1-0 or 2-0 would have been fine. Getting a goal would have been alright as well. But I was thinking that it was going to lose anyway. And draw would have been probably the best result. But I would any day against anybody. Much rather against Barcelona. And we managed to get that. Can't get better than this.
Okay. Tanuj, I don't know about the others, but I hear you sometimes and some other times I don't, so I don't know if there's something with your mic.
Same here.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay.
I don't know how to fix it. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I know what's going to be the wrong thing. Hang on. I think it will be better now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. That's surprising. No, what I was gonna say, I know, is that when we were watching Barca playing Chelsea, the thing Javi and Juan Pablo and I thought at the end was, oh my gosh, we hope that, Mourinho didn't watch that game, because what he's gonna do, he's gonna think, oh, let's defend, that's what it takes to beat Barca, And we were, let's hope we don't do that. And that's what we kinda did.